Hello, my people. Welcome back once again. Today we are talking about the downside and the upside of Africans in diaspora having children there. Some Africans in diaspora married to the Western women, and some married African women and bring them abroad. I'm talking about having children, having family in abroad. And some of these Africans, when they have these children abroad, some, not all of them, who will try, to, teach, their children their language, just like the Indians does, teach their children how to speak their language, and the Africans try to do that as well. Like some, not every Africans, even if they didn't teach them their language, they teach them their food, because this is what the Africans cook, in abroad. They try to eat their own traditional food, and sometimes those children will learn how to eat this traditional food from their parents, and some will pick up their language as well. And when you some of these African that they still their heart is still in Africa, but they are living abroad. They're having children in abroad, and they in their heart they would have preferred a day when the children will travel to Africa. Not only travel to Africa, that I want them to be like them, like they have this kind of feeling that let my children be like me, because I grew partly in Africa. I grew up in Africa, and I come back. I have these African values, because in the Western world they have like it's fickle. It changes, the life in the Western world is so fickle that it changes like wind. You know what I mean? You can have children here, before you know it, they become, LGBTQ child. You know what I mean? It's very possible. But people might ask, even if people can still be it in Africa, yeah, that's true. I'm not saying they cannot be it, but this is where the headquarter is. You know what I mean? The headquarter is in the Western world, and when you have children in the Western world, even if your immediate children doesn't fall victim to this kind of stuff, your grandchildren will fall victim to it. That's for sure, because some of those stuff is in the society, project to people. They project your children go to school. They project it to your children. You know what I mean? And one or two might pick it up among their children. But this is not even the major downside of Africans raising their children abroad, or having children abroad. The major one is that most of the Africans, they want their heart, they still love the place where they came from, even if though they don't even if they don't like their country, but they like the place where their parents came from. They love the place, and they love the culture, and they would, some would wish like their children who one day go back and they buy this culture. You know what I mean? Because sometimes people will just, like they are victim of these circumstances. Like, let me try and see if my children will be different. You know what I mean? If I raise my children, if I take them to Africa once in a while, they will come back and stay in Africa. Yeah, coming back to stay in Africa, just forget about it. They're not gonna stay in Africa. But the one thing people say, like the schools they give, is like when they raise their children abroad, they abroad. I say there's a lot of problem in Africa. That's what they say. They start with saying like we have a lot of problems in Africa, and that's why you're raising your children up in the Western world is better. That Africa is messed up already, so the West is better to raise your children. But these people forget that raising your children in the West is not even in my own opinion, it's not even better, because you're not the dominant people in abroad. Your children will still be kind of under these people that are in charge of the West. The children will be under them, and racism is not gonna go away. The racism will impact them. And let me talk about Africa having some problems in Africa. Even if some problems are in Africa, it's not a reason why to leave Africa. Like don't raise your children because things are hard. It's gonna continue hard in Africa. Oh, let me take my children abroad, or let me raise them there. You know what I mean? There's no way things are not bad. I'm telling you the fact. Let me give you an instance now. If you take your children to America, I'm not saying like America is dangerous. It's like that, but it's dangerous enough. Like we have mass shootings, we have people like they have license to carry gun, and your children might be victim of this. So saying that Africa is there's a lot of stuff going on in Africa, bad stuff going on. There's a lot of stuff going on in every part of the world. You cannot, because of things are hard, and just delete your entire culture and forget about them. Forget about your people and have your children abroad. And when you die, that's it. Where you came from in Africa, it becomes a vocal. You know what I mean? This is not true. This is not good, because I see a lot of people when they get old in the Western world, after raising their children, they start to regret, like my children now, they are not part of my heritage in Africa. They don't even know any of their uncles or their cousins. You know what I mean? And this is a tragedy. I'm telling you, because even if something is hard, it doesn't mean that you're gonna quit, because things are bad. It's either it gets worse or it gets better, and it's people that's gonna fix it. If you start to move away from running away from your problem, you're not gonna fix it, the problem. And there's no place like home where you belong. Your father's land, this is where your father came from. You have a sense of belonging. No one will take your stuff without you fighting. You know what I mean? Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe our YouTube channel and like our video. Peace.